Hey everyone, welcome to Binge Bar. Currently in the NHL, there are more than a few teams that are going through a rebuild, and today we're just going to give our thoughts on some of the teams that we think should go through one as well. Now, if you want to talk about mediocre, the team to talk about would be the Minnesota Wild. Minnesota is a good team, but sadly that's all they are. They aren't bad enough to tank and do well in the draft, but they certainly are nowhere near as good as they need to be to do well and go on a deep playoff run. They have an aging core with names like Eric Staal, Zach Parise, and goaltender Devin Dubnyk. On the bright side, though, they have the youth to back them up. Kevin Fiala, Matt Dumba, Eriksson Ek, Kunin, and Greenway are just some of the youth that this team has that can help them seek a better future. I think that Minnesota is on the verge of going through a rebuild as well. The reason I say this is because of the Coyle Donato trade that the team recently made with the Boston Bruins. Donato is a great addition to the Wild, and he's really going to help the team seek a better future. It's a hard thing to go through, don't get me wrong. It has to suck seeing some of your favorite players being shipped out for nothing but draft picks. But you have to understand, if you're truly a fan of that team, you'll understand that everything they're doing is just to better the franchise. Now, the next team I would like to talk about would be a very strange one to see. And this is because this team has gone from the top to the bottom in the blink of an eye, and I really don't understand why. And that team is the Los Angeles Kings. Now, what's killing the Kings is a couple of things. These things include weak contracts, a horrible prospect pool, and an aging core. Ilya Kovalchuk for $6 million a year? Are you insane? Hockey is an ever-changing game, and today's game is all about speed. The Kings' old-fashioned rough style is just too slow for today's NHL. In my opinion, they might be in the bottom of the standings, but they are still holding on to the dominant position in the NHL. Now, the players they could trade still have value, so if they're going to make a move, the time to do so would be now. But again, seeing Stanley Cup champions names like Kopitar and Quick being shipped out of LA for nothing but draft picks would be the most devastating thing for any LA fan to go through. So if Los Angeles is willing to make this move, it's time for any fans to let go of the past and start thinking about tomorrow. Now, if you ask me, the team that needs to go through a rebuild more than anybody else, and they need to start doing it now, would be the Anaheim Ducks. Because face it, it's just not the same since Disney sold you. The team is the biggest chokers in the league, and this season they're not going to even have the chance to choke in the playoffs due to how pathetic of a season that they have had. Now, to make matters worse for the Ducks is that if they want to go after any big names in the offseason to help their team, they can't because they have no cap space available. And when I say they have no cap space, I literally mean that they have no cap space available whatsoever. Corey Perry, Ryan Kessler, and their captain Ryan Getzlaf should all be made available. And I'm not trying to be harsh here, but the changes have to be made now. The three highest players that they have are all over the age of 30, and they don't have the best youth system going on as well. Recently, the Ducks were able to acquire Daniel Sprong from the Pittsburgh Penguins, and if you ask me, that is the only good move that the Ducks have made in a very, very long time. Daniel Sprong struggled so much in Pittsburgh, and they never gave him a chance to play, and when they finally did give him the chance, it was clear that it wasn't going to be a good fit. So sending him off to Anaheim was great for Sprong, and it's really what that franchise needed. Sprong is young, and he is fast, and he is strong, and he's going to be a great addition to that team just due to his determination to win those games. But then it's like the Ducks just gave up on the season. They made no great moves to try to go forward. Teams like the Islanders, Canucks, and even the Canadiens have great prospects that the Ducks should really consider going after, and if that means parting with the big names of your team, then so be it. And similar to the Minnesota Wild, the Ducks are a good team, but they aren't good enough to do anything in the playoffs. And I know a couple years ago they had a pretty decent run, but that's it, and that's where it ends. The Ducks are by no means in a win-now mode, so if anything, it's time to crack down and try to win later. Now, if the idea of trading away the icons of your franchise scares you, you gotta stop and think of what the Ottawa Senators fans are going through. The Sens have traded away Erik Karlsson, Mike Hoffman, Ryan Dzingel, Matt Duchene, and Mark Stone, all within the last year. But it's crazy to think what the Sens have gotten back in return. They have the best youth system in the NHL next to maybe, I don't know, the Canucks, and the prospects and the picks that they have going into this next draft is insane. And in 5 years, after all this pain and suffering is over, the Ottawa Senators are going to be one of the best teams in the league. Rebuilds are a tough thing to go through, but they are becoming more and more relevant in the NHL as of lately, and I just think that there are some teams that should really consider going through them. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content. Thank you. We'll see you next time.